Welcome back to another episode of HU and Beyond, the podcast presented to you by HU Enrichment. As always, for your host, Stephen here as always. And today I am joined here by a good friend of mine. Had the pleasure of going to high school with this man and also is now officially a graduate of Harrisburg University. His name is Christopher McNeal. Chris,
How is
what's
everybody
poppin'?
doing? Nothing much, nothing much. It's a pretty good day outside today. It's actually good weather and everything in Philly too, so it's just a good day in general today.
Oh, yeah, the weather's up here pretty good in Harrisburg as well. I can't complain as well.
Uh-huh.
So, Chris, let's start in the beginning. Give us kind of an overview of specifically what are you currently doing right now, and also during your time at HU, what did you major in, and kind of an idea what that entitles.
Yeah, so what I do right now is I'm a real estate agent, primarily residential, but I do dabble a little in commercial real estate. I'm a real estate agent licensed through Long and Foster Real Estate, and I also run my own little business called Home by Chris.
Oh, okay. I mean, so now before the real estate and all that stuff, obviously this required a lot some type of higher education. And so, like I said, you went to HU, you graduated literally last week. So congratulations
Yeah,
again.
thank you,
So
thank you.
what did you major in? And can you tell us a little bit about what that major means?
Yeah, so actually, when I first started at HU, I majored in computer science, and then I ended up switching to business administration. I've always had a love and affinity for entrepreneurship. Watching stuff like Shark Tank and whatever other business documentary I could kind of get my hands on back when I was a kid. So it's just kind of trying to do that stuff now in my present life. Nonetheless, though, I ended up graduating with a degree in business administration and entrepreneurship. Um, it was a great time doing so at HU. It was a couple of twists and turns along the way. Of course, we all that some of us survived COVID going through that with graduation. But it was definitely it was a roller coaster of a college career, and I'm very very happy to come to the close with it.
I man, hear that. I mean, I was at your graduation. For those who are unaware, last Thursday, HU
Yep.
graduated their undergrad and graduate class, and some doctorals as well.
Mhm.
Pretty sold out. I was sitting in stands. It's pretty packed in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Barely any seats. But that's a good thing. That means you got a lot of people coming out to support.
Yes.
Um, I mean, for you guys, I know you guys wait in some section before you come out to the main crowd, and then you guys do your thing. I always say the sitting's the longest part, because you just
Yeah.
don't get used
Yeah.
to
I
it.
mean, they gave us snacks, so I was okay with my snacks at least.
Hey, hey, glad they came prepared and all. So, Chris, let's kind of start at the beginning, man. So, first and foremost, where are you from, and how was life growing up for you?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Northeast Philadelphia, really around like the Fishtown area. Life growing up for me was I would say pretty modest. It was a good time. It was a good time. I had a pretty good childhood. I come from a mother who's a teacher, a father who's a firefighter. And for the most part, school was always a big part of our upbringing. Making sure that we are learning stuff, making sure that we're doing stuff. From I would say until like first grade until sixth grade, I would end up living in Northeast, and I would end up moving to West Philly, where I finished out my elementary school, middle school, and into high school years.
Okay, so during that whole process of like, because you had to move to different places,
Yeah,
do you also have to switch schools as well during that time?
yeah, yeah. So that did have me switch schools. I used to go to St. Gabriel's, and then I ended up going to St. Francis Cabrini. That school is still open. Yeah, it was an interesting time in my life. We ended up, changing locations, and I'm like changing friends in the whole nine yards. Um, but it was still, it was an adventurous point in life though, because leading up to that, everybody I knew was like on my block and like family. So learning about all the different people that really are around here, and just getting to kind of really set roots in West Philadelphia, leading up into my graduation. It was a good time all around, I would say.
Glad to hear, man. I think we, I must say, I think that one's the first school you said. I think that one's closed now.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Our Lady of Lourdes did close. It closed like the same year that I ended up going there. I was like, oh my god. I used to have a
really,
teacher there named Mr. Mahalan. He was a really good sixth grade teacher.
that is insane. I don't know, that was such a weird time because I just remember that time period where I think Philadelphia school district was closed down like 30 plus
Yeah,
schools, and
it was
like
like back to back. You
yeah,
know,
like they weren't like, and then now we have plans to make sure the kids get to a good school. Like, I mean, we just sent them to their closest like public school to their area.
yeah.
I think that was
That's
their plan.
that's basically what they were gonna do. But my parents ended up putting me in St. Francis Cabrini after that. And then I would end up getting I guess I would end up getting into Mastery Charter Shoemaker campus in eighth grade, and I would graduate from, Mastery, eighth grade into high school, and then take that the whole way through.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So let's move on. Let's kind of talk about how basically the part where we both met, which is Mastery. Mastery
yeah,
Charter Shoemaker, located in West Philadelphia, has a bunch of other campuses across Philadelphia and also Jersey as well. It
hmm
varies between middle school to high school, though. Now, with Mastery, how did you kind of end up there, and what was the experience during your time there?
yeah. So ending up there, I'm pretty sure you get picked for like some type of a lottery system or something like that. My my yeah, I ended up getting in first. I'm pretty sure because I already had a cousin or something like that that was already in the school. So I ended up started going there in the like second or third week of eighth grade. And it was a bit of a transition because prior to that, I had only been going to primarily private schools, Catholic schools. I'm raised Roman Catholic, so that's all I had knew at the time. Going to a charter school, it was a bit of a difference, but I definitely loved it. You know, you get to see a little bit of everybody. For the most part, I would say we had very diverse teachers. Absolutely love the teachers at Mastery. Like that's one thing I got to say. The teachers over there, Principal Ameki back when he was our principal before, now he's out doing so much bigger and better things right now in the world. Uh, Nonetheless, the experience at Mastery was a really good experience. I learned a lot, met a lot of good people. We definitely, we met back when I was like just getting to start knowing Rotroff and art class and the whole mural arts program and that whole 9 yards because that was something I did like ninth grade or 10th grade. I did entrepreneurs and I had started selling buttons. I did that for about a year and a half. I've always did like some type of entrepreneurial adventure though. I be trying every now and again. Yeah.
Yeah.
So ninth grade was it was ninth and 10th grade. That was entrepreneurs. Then 11th grade, you know, while doing uh man, while doing the entrepreneur stuff, I ended up doing taking that into 11th grade, started making some clothes for a little bit. And then like 12th grade, I think I stopped doing entrepreneurs and at that time I'm like finishing up with Boy Scouts and everything also. That's something I didn't even mention yet. From seventh grade up until 12th grade, graduating, I had done Boy Scouts. So I've been a scout for about six, I want to say years, 6, 7 years. Completed my Eagle Scout project, which was I gathered equipment for 50 women and like families in a women's homeless shelter in an endangered shelter. Um, so that would end up ending out like my senior year, getting ready to graduate from Mastery. Nonetheless, though, the time at Mastery was just absolutely mind blowing. Great teachers over there, great students, and you just gotta put yourself out there, and that's gonna be with anything. That's gonna be with anything, college and high school, and in life in general.
That is fair. I mean, you really touched a lot about mastery as a whole. I mean, I pretty much agree with what you're saying. I mean, I had a great teachers, great group of individuals. Obviously, Rochaw, for context, he's the art teacher. Well, he was the art teacher there. For our
Hmm.
listeners and viewers, amazing guy. He would always say, what was it? I'm about to start stealing kids, and it's
Oh my
like,
gosh, yeah.
like he never did it. That was just
Oh
his
my
way of saying,
lord.
like, hey, guys, listen before like
Yeah.
I have to yell at you essentially. Um, so it was always funny
Great
to
art
us.
teacher, seriously. Same with I gotta shout out Mr. Wright. You know, you can't mention mastery and not mention somebody like Mr. Wright. You
Yeah,
know.
another good one
Yeah.
right there as well. Taught us English basically. He literally taught us the APA format before we went to college.
Yeah.
Um, it and for those listening, again, you would think that is something you learn in high school naturally, which is not the case. Most people learn, I think, the other format,
You
which is
use like MLA
yeah,
up into a certain instance. I know it's different. Some schools are different.
they got to get better at that one now because like it's gonna bite
Yeah.
them in the butt in the long
Ooh,
term.
when you do get to college and it's like only APA, it's like you really
Yeah,
do got to learn it, especially because I that was a great teacher here in HU also. Miss or Mrs. Engstad. She's a great a comprehension teacher here. Yep.
yep, yep, another great one. I mean, so the kind of two more questions about high school. So first one, what is kind of your favorite memory if you had to pick one from mastery that comes to mind?
Yeah, I would say entrepreneurs really was a great like just instance just a really great instance being a part of a program that let me kind of exercise my entrepreneurialness plus while I'm able to create something. I've been an artist all my life, so being able to create my own designs and put them on stuff and try to market that and sell it, like it really got me in that mindset, especially back then. I was like just starting to start watch Shark Tank. It really got me in that mindset that like I can do this thing. I just gotta keep on trying, keep on trying, keep on trying, and eventually you end up being successful in whatever you do, as long as you are put on the gas, being proactive about the things that you need to learn and the stuff that you want to do in life. You can be proactive. You can be successful in anything. Yeah. So that was a great time at Mastery though. That got to be the best memory. Entrepreneurs.
I'm about to say, I think that one kind of laid a foundation for you to kind of get to where you're at today because it built that curiosity in the field from the jump. So it's
Yeah.
always a great resource right there. My last question would transition to the next part of this conversation. How did basically mastery help you when it came to the college decisions? And then how did that lead you to HU?
Yeah. So at Mastery, for the most part, they do a good job of getting colleges on the minds of kids at all times. We got our posters up, and we got our cohorts that are college style names and everything.
I still hated that,
Uh,
but we'll continue.
yeah, yeah, I know. Oh my lord. But that was it just got you in the instance of thinking like, yeah, like I can go to college. Like I've always had it in my mind that I was going to go to college. That was never a if and or but. It was just a matter of like who is going to be how am I going to be able to fund my way through it, and how am I going to be able to uh uh do it off campus and be able to do it while I'm close to family and everything. So believe it or not, my first college that I chose was actually in like Utah. Okay.
Really?
Yeah, that was like, yeah, yeah. I was trying to go out there and do college out there for a little while. Of course, that didn't end up working out. I did get accepted to that college, but I would end up getting accepted to Harrisburg University about a week afterwards. I had my full scholarship and everything, and it was like this is a really good decision rather than going halfway across the U.S. Where I don't really know anybody. At least I'm just 2 hours away. I can still see my family. My family can still see me. Yeah, mastery helped though. It was really just getting it into your head all the time, like that you got to be proactive and look around for colleges. You got to look around for scholarships. You got to look around for programs that you're going to be able to utilize. Like you got to do the work at the end of the day. Nobody's going to do it for you. So that was a big part of applying where I did apply, and then eventually applying to Harrisburg University and getting in.
Okay, okay. Anyway, you had Don and Tony as well to help you through that process, right?
Yeah, I had Donatoni. Ooh, I think it was Sorensen. I think I had Miss Sorensen. At the time, she was. Oh man, I can't think. No, I didn't
Was she
have
pregnant?
Donatoni. I never had Donatoni at the time. I never had
Oh wait,
Donatoni.
I think because she was pregnant and she was on leave.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Like I
might have
never
been
had her
that.
because I had Miss Sorensen for 11th and 12th grade.
Right, right. Because this is when like
Yeah,
this is when like people are starting to kind of dip out in their own way. Like, I know she leaves somewhere between when I left. And for
yeah,
those wondering, I graduated before Chris. I was in 12th grade when he was in 11th. So
yep.
if you're confused by the timeline, that's how it is. How I met Chris was through mural arts because I was always go to the art room and see him. What's that other kid's name? Jordan.
Jordan, you see Jordan there, you see Nicholas there.
Yeah, Nicholas as
Yeah,
well.
definitely
Another
Nicholas.
one. That's how we met. Now, in terms of basically what I'm trying to go at it with is basically with Sorensen, I think she handled you guys, and that's when everyone started to dip out. But it kind of leads to my next question is like, okay, you picked HU out of, I'm assuming you guys still have to do like the minimum of 7 schools, right? Or like it didn't matter.
Yeah, yeah. It's a minimum of seven. I'm pretty sure it was a minimum of seven schools. I think I only applied to like five though. Um yeah, but I would end up picking HU out of the bunch.
That. And then then you did your college signing day, which you guys went down to Temple still, I think, at that time period.
Yep. Yep.
Then you sat with people who are going to university. That's just a tradition mastery does, and then you graduate. Then fall semester of what 20? And correct me if I'm wrong. It's 2018.
Yep. 2018. Um
It was it. It's 2018 or is it
2017.
2017?
2017.
Yeah,
It would have been
yeah.
fall semester 2017, and then I had I've graduated spring of 18.
Yep, 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 yep. So
Yeah.
now let's move on to, well, I mean, I know how your semester went, but they don't. So to our viewers, let's talk about your first semester at HU. How was that experience for you from the move in to the whole semester experience?
Yeah, so originally starting at HU, it was already like a new experience, At the time I never lived away from home like that. I always took camping trips being a Boy Scout for so long. But starting to live basically in my own apartment with another guy at the time. Oh my lord, I can't remember what his name is. I want to say John.
Was it Patrick?
Patrick. It was Pat. No, it was not Patrick. No, it wasn't
But
Patrick.
you,
I forget what his name is. I'm so sorry.
no, you're good. Wait, who had Patrick then? Was it Cortavius?
Cortavius. No, Cortavius didn't have Patrick. I forget what the guy's name. I forget what my roommate's name is, and it's actually kind of crazy.
That is
But at
funny.
the
'Cause
time,
I thought it was Patrick, bro.
no, 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 no. See, I had somebody else. See, I at the time I was in MVP. It was a great like first year. Oh my lord. I always say like the first year of mastery is like a movie. You meet so many different people, form so many different friendships. You know, go out places here and there. Back then, I would take like road trips with a couple friends every now and again. At that same time, I ended up getting my first car, so I was doing whatever I was, But through it all, I still was able to do what I needed to do within the school. It's a great support system within the school, so I'm able to speak to not only teachers and students and student staff members, but I'm also able to just get my ideas out there and ask the questions that people probably wouldn't ask. If they think that it's like a stupid question or whatever. For the most part, everybody's pretty open and inviting with, hey, say what you need to say, ask the hard questions, ask whatever you need to ask for. It's just about being open and having that good environment of people to refer to and friendships to be able to be made.
I must say. I would definitely agree. I do remember one time, I think your connection leader was on Tiffany, and I
Yep.
remember she texted me one time a message that you sent her. She couldn't understand it, and I
Oh
was like,
man.
and this is the culture shock aspect of it. So, Tiff's from like Carlisle, small town.
Hmm.
She just didn't understand the lingo of a lot of people who would come through from like other cities.
Yeah,
So she
yeah.
would
You
sometimes
got
text me.
Baltimore and Philly, and you got a couple of different like metropolises that are all coming to Harrisburg. So, oh
Yep.
man, everybody got different
DC
lingo.
too,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
New York.
Hmm.
You had some New York in there as well, because there's some people from Brooklyn, but they never said their names. I don't know why. That was
Oh
they never
man.
claimed it. I guess it was weird. But yeah, no. I just did when you were saying about the culture aspect, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that one time she texted. Like, all you said was just basically, "I got you," but I think you said it in a way that only a Philly
Yeah,
guy would
I
understand it.
probably yeah, I probably definitely use some type of Philly lingo, where
Yeah.
it's thrown in every now and again. You gotta remember where you from though. That's a good thing.
And why is that? So, like, the kind of because I asked another question I wanted to ask. So, did you have any issues with the culture shock aspect of HU, or was it like something that out you were like, oh yeah, this is cool. I'm interested. Let's get on with it.
The only thing that I didn't like about Harrisburg as a whole was that stuff just closes down a little too early. But when you get a little bit older, you come to realize that you want stuff to close down earlier. I want people all around my house and all of that all the time. But nonetheless, it wasn't really anything too shocking about the school in a bad way. It was just nice to understand that it was always a sense of community there. It was always something to do. Somebody's trying to start up something, whether it's going to City Island or hitting the city or running to a couple of the different shops downtown. A big shout out to Burger Yum. Oh my lord, if you need a good burger, you need to be over here at Burger Yum. That was like my favorite place to eat down there. So yeah, it's just nice being around Harrisburg, and not only Harrisburg, but being around Carlisle, Enola, Middletown. It's just so much around Harrisburg. Also, that's a good time to get out and go to.
See, I'm happy you say that because some of these kids, man, they don't like exploring, man. They like their
Yeah, I
dorms all
know,
day.
I know. People like to be told what to do. Unfortunately, you really gotta make some fun a little bit, when you are out there, and you don't got to do that in a bad way. Just literally get some friends together. Go to the movies, go and do something. But sitting around and sulking, not going to do nothing.
I think we got lucky that we got to experience that before COVID. I think that's what kind of messed
Yeah,
it up.
yeah, and that did it messed up a lot of kids' college experience. Are you kidding?
It really did. It really
Going
did.
going through COVID was like it was a really trying time, and I remember even at a time contemplating stopping going to school. But I continued to persevere and get my college career done that all at the end of it, and I'm happy that I did do so.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I must say, like, obviously, I got very lucky because I think when it popped off, I was only like a month left in of
Yeah.
academics. So, for those who had like semesters and years a little left on them, I kind of felt more bad for you guys. So, my
Hmm.
next question is like for you, you had to go through that process of COVID. So, how was that? How was that overall like COVID experience for you during the whole college experience?
So I'm not gonna lie and say COVID was like the best. Like, of course, everything was just a little frazzled. Everybody was scrambling. Like, you got to think about it on a scale of like, if you thought that the students as an individual were scrambling, what do you think a full institution that has invested billions of dollars into something is doing? Everyone was scrambling. So it was hiccups with everybody's side. Students had mess ups, institutions had mess ups, but at the end of it all, it all came down to having that symbiotic relationship of like, this is all our institution and we're all trying to work at it together. So at the end of the day, I still had a good time learning in even in COVID. Once things did go asynchronous, it was an easy time being able to still go to classes, still being able to go to work, being able to turn in my work on time. I was still able to reach out to teachers. I actually one of the best teachers I ever got in the middle of all of this COVID stuff was Dr. Zagerman. absolutely is one of the best teachers in that school. Like he cares for his students by all means. It's always a great talk, great time getting a chance to speak to him. You know, at the end of the day, it, the COVID was a crazy time. You know, everybody was a little all over the place, but it was still manageable, and that's exactly what I was able to do. I just managed with it, you know, do the classes online or show up with my mask on. It's not a you know I'm here to learn. I'm not here to play really.
Hey, there you go, man. You stood on business. I like it. So
Yeah,
let's talk about your academics a little bit. If you had to pick, what's one class that you really enjoyed the most and why?
yeah. So oh man, and I can't remember what the class's name is.
You can
Um
explain as well. It's okay if you don't
yeah,
remember.
yeah. Like this was a oh man, it was like a it's kind of like a business style class. It is a business class, business major class, and I took this one with Dr. Geisler. Um, she's another great teacher. She isn't at the school anymore, but she was another great teacher. Uh, that class consisted of us basically running a mock business, selling items to other to clients and businesses, having to learn how to develop systems within your business, prices, you know, against a computerized algorithm to help us kind of understand what it takes to pivot within businesses on a day-to-day basis to kind of like come out on top. That class was really interesting, and I also would definitely shout out my oh man, I can't think of I can't think of what the guy's name was, but it was an e-commerce class where this one was taken like at the start of COVID, and I had to like create my own I basically created my own business. At the time I was selling a it was like a cat uh it's like a cat cave type of a thing. I called it the Honey Pot Cat. Designed my own logo and everything. Put up all the social medias and just try to get everything started. That was just a really interesting class, also.
Why do I feel like I remember you sending me this to
Yeah,
free?
I did. I sent it. I sent it on Facebook. I sent that like everybody at the time. Because at the time, it was a Shopify store that I was trying to run.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now I
Yeah,
remember. Yep. Now it's
yeah.
going back to me. Yep, I remember this. I remember this because I think this
Now I'm just
is.
trying to sell houses though. So you know, buy a house
Hey man,
or
look,
rent.
man,
Both of
or
them,
rent.
both of them.
Oh,
I'm on
hey,
both sides of the spectrum, okay?
so I mean, it's I love hearing it now that you just like, all right, now I'm trying to show you some houses because like for years you've been telling me I want to do this real estate thing,
Yeah.
and now we actually doing it. So let's
Mhm.
talk about real estate real quick. Well, not real quick. This is the next section. So
Yeah, no,
let's
you're all
start
good.
off with what is a big misconception when it comes to the real estate business that you experience a lot or so far?
Yeah, so the biggest misconception is that like I'm gonna say it on both sides. On the rental side, the biggest misconception is that I own the home and that I'm just looking for a renter. Like that's not how it works. I'm a representative of you. Okay. So when we sit down and sign a contract, an agency representation agreement, that means that I will represent you with looking for a place, with calling the people I got to call, with sourcing the data and doing the market research to be able to find you a house or an apartment that you would most want, or one that I'm sourcing and doing the stuff that I got to do to sell your home. So it's definitely on both sides. People tend to think that like I own the home, and then on top of that, the real big one is that people think that I get like a paycheck before anything. I don't get paid until I make the sale, so it's 100% commission based, but it's definitely a great sorry, it's a great opportunity.
Okay.
Great opportunity.
I think that always happens pretty oftenly when you like do, like, for example, like I know you do social media content for your stuff. A lot
Uh
of people
huh.
will see like people do house tours or YouTube videos of long form content of that, and they think, oh yeah, this person owns this $20 million house. No, his
Yeah.
job is just he's showcasing it to you, there's a company that owns this. If you're
Yeah,
interested, you will
or a person. For the
a
most part,
person.
it's just people, just like you and me. You know, I'm finding you who owns the house, and then I'm finding someone else who wants a house, and I'm bringing that relationship together and try to have that transaction actually happen. You know.
Right. So, and you're 'cause like I said, we were talking about this before the podcast. You've been doing this now for like a couple months officially.
Yep.
Now, how is the education you achieve through HU helps you in this current climate of real estate?
Actually, that's that man. Just the way of getting my license was a crazy situation. We're gonna make this. We're not gonna take too much time with this. Long story short, I would end up getting done with my junior year, knowing like for my project 1 and 2, uh, I'm gonna do something real estate related. So what I ended up doing is in my junior year for my project, I would do a project 1 that was based on uh, college home buyers and getting them to understand that you don't have to rent for so long. You need to learn the basics of buying a home so that you can start building equity. Now, let's say for the normal person, they probably rent in 2 to 3 years at a time. If you counting increases in money and increases in rent and everything, not even actually. If you're just paying that $1,000 flat over 36 months, you've paid out $36,000 to a landlord who is paying off his home and paying off his cars, you know? You need a so I'm very big on first time home buyer education, first time home buyer grants and programs, things that are going to get you to understand the reasons why you should buy a home and the ways to get to buying a home. Along with, like I said, grants and stuff like that that will give you down payment assistance and closing cost assistance. It's a slew of things out here that people can use, and that's what I took my time to learn in my junior year. So when I would end up finishing up my junior year, I did my project 1 on college affordability for renting versus home buying, and then uh, as I finished up that semester, I would start doing my real estate licensure. I did an online course through Real Estate U. It took me about 4 months, 5 months to get my real estate license to pass those exams through the school, and then to pass the state testing. So by the time I was actually finishing up the real estate program, I was starting my senior year. Um, I would end up getting my real estate license in September, signing with the brokerage in October, and yeah, through that whole entire time, I would start working with Long and Foster Real Estate, a company that's been around for a little over 50 years. I work in the Art Hurling office right now, doing, like I said, residential sales, dealing a little bit with rentals, and doing a little with commercial right now. So altogether, that time of learning, like getting my licensure, it was really hard because I was doing school, working full time, and doing the license thing at the same time. Plus, at that same time, if I'm not mistaken, I think junior year I was also working a second job with Harrisburg University, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
Yeah,
you
over the
were.
summer. Yeah, so I was really like I had a lot to do, where like I was doing a lot back then, but it all paid off in the end.
Yeah, man. I mean, like Alex Gibson, head of my department. He was talking about you when I told him I'm going to interview you. He's like, "Oh, I loved Chris, man. Is he doing well? Yeah,
Yeah,
he's doing
yeah,
real
yeah,
estate now."
exactly. Because I had done HU enrichment with him for that summer. I was doing like website maintenance and just keeping up on the things that were going on with the summer camp program, which that was a great time, seriously.
Yep. And we're doing it again this summer. So for those listening, enrichment.harrisburgu.edu, you can check out all our summer offerings from seventh graders. We have options for seventh graders, not many, but we have two options up to, but mainly high schoolers. We're looking at you, 9 to 12. Come to our summer camp this summer. We got some cool things doing. But
Great things to do, seriously.
Hey, we try. We try to make it also it's a we try to make it as affordable as possible. We have some for those who are eligible. If you have the right requirements, feel free to fill out the form. You can have some eligibility there for a free camp if you fit the requirements. So check it out at richmond.harrisburgu.edu. But back on point, so with Chris, a couple of things I wanted to clarify for those who are not really the wisest when it comes to real estate.
Yep.
Is there really a big difference between, because you said residential versus commercial?
Yeah, so residential real estate is what you're living in right now. You live in a multifamily unit, basically, right?
Mhm.
So dealing with residential can be anything from your small single family home, like your row home, to having a detached home, to anything that I can live in is residential. Anything that is commercial is like I'm doing work out of this place, like I'm selling food out of this place. And then you have stuff like mixed use buildings where you may have like a storefront on the first floor and then like homes on the top and second and third floor. So yeah, the difference is
Oh,
just one is for business, one is for one like a person to live in.
okay. My next question would be, what is kind of like a common thing you've like noticed so far in your field in terms of like things you had to deal with certain clients? If you had
Yeah,
any.
so for right now, I'm actually getting the most clients that I've ever gotten before. Because, like I said, I put out some content, some stuff went a little viral. I connected with like 120,000 people. Uh, and through all of that, I've been answering inboxes like all day for the last like week and a half. But it's a good type of work. So you get people that just don't know whatsoever about buying a home. You get people that I've gotten people that can afford a home right now that just literally don't understand that you got to look around, understand that there's people out here that's trying to inform you on how you can buy that home or how you can put your family in that first home. I deal with people who are low income. I deal with people who are a little higher income. But nonetheless, both sides of the spectrum half the time don't know where to start when it comes to buying a home. They don't know that they can get programs for being a first responder or for being part of the military, or you can get stuff like an FHA loan where you literally put down 3.5% up to like 10% on a home and you're able to put yourself in that. So let's say you're living in Harrisburg and it's $100,000 home that you really want. It needs a little bit of work, and you think like, I really want to put me and my family inside of this home. You could do something like take that FHA loan, find the lender who's going to give you the 3.5% down payment, and that's $3,500 out of pocket. Like you could use that going forward.
Do you think, because this is my second to last question, do you think the reason why a lot of people get kind of flustered with like the whole real estate aspect of buying a home is because there's like the aspect of they just want to buy out straight, they don't want to have any loans to it? Or do you think it's
That's
like
what
it
that's
varies?
what people tend to be scared about. They tend to be scared about the idea that they need to come up with 20% to be able to put that money down on the loan. People are scared about uh people are scared. They're usually scared about not understanding what finances it takes to get from being a non-home buyer to being a home buyer. And all that is in the middle of that is a string of like 8 to 10 steps. I just need you to be able to sit down with me for 10 minutes so we could go over these 8 to 10 steps. You get your pre-approval. You find that that's going to teach you how much you're going to be able to get loaned out to you. After you get your pre-approval, then you come to me, and now it's time for us to start shopping for a place. After you probably already signed the contract, met a realtor and stuff like that. Now you come to me and you say, I got this pre-approval. Let's look around and say what I want to shop for. You find a house. Now we put in the offer. You end up getting the house. Now you got to do your due diligence afterward, though. Now you got to get your home inspected. Find out how much land you actually own in your home, and it's a couple of things to do for vetting and this and that, but at the end of the day, this is like it's like going and getting a car. If you've went and gotten a car and you've spoken to a professional to do so, you need to do the same thing with real estate. Just look to somebody, like myself or like someone local to you who's going to be able to tell you this is how you're going to be able to buy this house. This is how you can use these programs to get down payment assistance to be able to buy a house even while you're not making crazy money. It's so many ways to do it nowadays. Do it. Do it rather than renting for 5 years, 10 years. Next thing you do is look back and you start thinking like, man, I gave somebody $100,000, $150,000 out of my hard-earned money, and I don't got nothing to show for it other than I lived somewhere for 10 years, and not so much that you have built equity on something for the last 8 to 10 years, and that you can transfer that into something else and say, like, the possibilities with real estate are endless. And I think that's what scares people. It's just a possibility.
Yeah.
It's just a
I think that,
possibility.
and also like the feeling of them getting scammed because like they always
Yeah,
have that thought process
yeah.
in their head of like, oh, I might get scammed by this guy. Like, well, I mean, that's
Go to a
I feel like
realtor.
you might say like go to a realtor. Also, do
Go
your
to
own
a
research
realtor.
on the people. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, you
it's,
gotta do your own vetting, you look online, you find out how many places somebody has sold, you find out, if they've been posting, if they're active in their, community and everything like that. You gotta do your due diligence, like, nonetheless, you gotta do it.
yeah, I really do. My last question is pretty much something I do all my guests. If
Yep.
what would you tell yourself, high school you, if you had to say anything to them? What would you tell 'em?
I would say go for, real estate faster. I would have said go for real estate faster. Because a little thing I never touched on in this, and I really don't tend to tell a lot of people is I actually started doing real estate school back in 2021. I
Mm,
started it, but unfortunately, I got a little sidetracked doing real estate school when the opportunity of selling life insurance came up, and you can make so much money in doing this and doing. Um, but I always knew in the back of my mind, like, I want to be a real estate agent. I want to sell houses. Like, for me, this is so much about putting a family in a house. It's so much about education. It's so much about teaching people that you do not need 20, 30, $50,000 just to be able to buy your first home. It's not about buying the perfect home. It's about getting into your first home, and giving your family that opportunity to build some equity over the course of their lives, and to be able to, like, it's so much connected to getting that first home. And I just want people to understand that, like, that's the main thing. It's not so much about I got to spend this money up front right now, because at the end of the day, you're gonna get your money's worth, and you're gonna get your education's worth also. I just hope people understand that more than anything. But I definitely would have told myself, like, yeah, go. Once I started that schooling, I should have finished that thing out and had my real estate. I would have had my real estate license back in 2021, basically. But me getting sidetracked and worrying about financials and thinking, well, I can make money doing this. Fast cash is never going to be uh, uh, the root of a good life. To at least ending out your life good. I could have sold $1 million worth of life insurance, but I know I would have always been looking around like, man, yo, I wish I would have been able to sell a house. So I'm just happy that I'm doing it right now. And I'm happy that I trusted in the school system to take me all the way through and to keep me believing like I this is what I can do. So yeah.
hey man, I'm glad, and obviously here you are doing the thing. So obviously, I've probably said congrats too many times here. I ain't gonna hype you up too much, bro. You already know me. Yeah, but you've earned it though. I mean, yeah, I mean, you did it last week. You've earned one of the biggest honors I always see. Graduation,
Yeah,
and now you're doing your thing. So not a lot of people can say they're doing their job after college. Just
yeah,
saying. So
yeah. I know. Ooh,
enjoy it, have fun with it. But obviously, thank you for coming on the podcast. I appreciate you having me
no,
on
thank you
talk
so much
about
for
real
having
estate.
me.
Hey, Look, I think a lot of my viewers are younger. They definitely should be educating themselves a little bit to understand, especially for my young college students. You're gonna have that decision coming up for you in a couple of years, or maybe sooner if you're a senior. Like, start
Yep.
thinking about it. It's not that scary, and it's okay to take a loan if you understand what comes with it. That's
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
if you take away
I
anything
mean, think
from that,
about think about it. You sign up for credit cards, you sign up for afterpay, Klarna.
exactly.
If you signing up for that, take some thought. You got to live somewhere, okay? Don't pay your other landlord to be able to do that. You can be your own landlord, and that's what that comes down to. Thank you
Exactly.
for having me so much, though. Seriously.
Hey, no problem, man. I'm glad to have you. And also for those who are curious and would like to reach out to Chris, check out the link in the description. Also on Spotify, YouTube. You can check out him on all his socials. Home by Chris. If I correct me if I'm right about
Yep.
that.
Home by Chris. All spaces are just dots.
Yep.
Home.by.chris.
There you go. Home.by Chris. Check him out on all socials. If you need something in real estate and any other needs you may have, feel free to hit him up, DM him. He would happily oblige. Thank you, Chris, for coming on. That's been another episode of H and Beyond the podcast, presented to you by H Enrichment. My name's Steven. I'm out here. Take care, guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Later.